friends, you may have noticed that over the course of our time together that I spend a lot of time reading you picture books in order to teach you different language arts concepts. Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that I really think that kids should be reading picture books for a really long time because they are amazing and teach great lessons. But the lesson I want to talk about today that I really think picture books do a great job of teaching kids is how the illustrations help enhance or contribute to the story and your understanding of the story. So that's part of the reason why oftentimes when I'm trying to teach you lessons, I'll pull out a picture book instead of maybe, say, a chapter book that we've been reading for a long time. And that's part of the reason why when we pick up books these days that graphic novels are so appealing to so many of you, and comic books and things like that, because having those pictures really does add to what we're reading about in the story. So our reading focus today is I can use information from the pictures to show understanding of characters or plot. That's for second grade. And for third grade, I can explain how illustrations contribute to the words in a story. So you may notice that I have been reading you some really simple picture books. Like, say, for in the past, we read a book called Little Bird's Bad Word. And Little Bird's Bad Word is a small book with a big lesson about not using bad words. But what I find really interesting is how maybe there's one word on each page or a couple of words on each page, and really the illustrations take up much of the story. And it's really hard for me as we get older that a lot of times we get away from that and we start encouraging kids to read books with more text. And that's actually really important, right? Because you're becoming better readers, you can read more text. But I think it's also really important to stop and really think about how these pictures add to the story. So if we just had this word on the page, blark, it wouldn't tell us much about the story. But we know from reading the story and looking at the pictures how the dad reacts, how the bird feels about hearing his dad's bad word. And we also know about how the worm feels. And also, this is a major plot point in the story where the father says a bad word that is not okay. So you really want to look at how this amazing picture contributes to what's happening in the story and adds to what's going on in your mind. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to read a book that really only has one word. And I want, as we go along, I'm going to stop and show you a little bit about how that one word, how the illustrations really add to this very, very simple story that only has one word. And then our practice is going to be later on about you drawing illustrations for a book where you don't see the pictures. So keep that in your mind as we're going along. So the book I'm going to read you today is Moo, and it's by David LaRochelle, and he's pretty great. So the book is Moo, and you can see right here from the front there's a cow driving a car. So here we go. Moo, 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 moo. So we can already guess from the illustrations what's happening or what could happen in the story. Something involving a car. So Moo. So here he is, Moo. So he's just quietly sitting on the grass. We can see from this illustration doing his thing. Moo. Because he's using that question mark and we can see this picture, we can see about a plot about to develop. He sees a car for sale. Moo! The excitement. Moo. So really, instead of the words telling the story, the pictures are telling the story. So he's out for a joyride in his fun little red car. Moo! So excited, having the best day of his life. Moo! And we're seeing the sign right there. And I love the cow's expression, too, with his bell flying behind. Moo! So, moo! So he hits a rock right here. Moo! Moo! Right there. Big heart impact. Moo 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 moo. So you can tell right here from this picture that he's really talking to the policeman and trying to get out of the situation. The policeman's, what's he doing? Telling him to go moo. Moo 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 moo. Making his way back home. Moo 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 moo. Who does he see with car for sale? And so then he's pointing his leg, and who does he point at? Bah! So who's he trying to blame it on? The sheep. The end. So what I really like about this book and about this language arts concept that we're talking about how the illustrations contribute to the story, is that sometimes as we get to be better and better readers, we forget to look at the pictures. Or sometimes we kind of pass them by thinking that maybe they're just there, we're focusing on the words, and we have to remember, even in fiction and in nonfiction text, that it's always really important to look at those illustrations and see and think to ourselves in our mind as readers, how do they contribute to the story? What are they showing? Are they giving us some information that we're not getting in the text? And that is a good strategy, good reading strategy for both fiction and nonfiction. Have a fantastic day, friends.